Hello everybody, I'm here to show you the long-awaited game analysis for round 5 in my chess tournament. I am really proud of the way I played this game. I think that I managed to play a very good positional game, which is quite unusual for me. Let's jump straight into it. Alright, in this game I had the white pieces and I started out with e4. My opponent replied with c5, so the Sicilian defense. This is my favourite defense against e4. Played knight f3. Knight f3 is very comprehensive. I think that at some point in the future I'll make some sort of course, or I'll do like a white gambits, black gambits, and also an anti-Sicilian. Because with knight f3, although it looks like you're going into an open Sicilian rather than knight c3 like a closed, if d6 then you've got the delayed Alep to play. If knight c6 then you've got b4, the delayed wing gambit to play. But my opponent played the move e6, and I did think quite for a long time here. Because I know no theory. I know absolutely no theory in this opening whatsoever. I thought I could go for d4, and then maybe if my opponent plays d6, this is called the Scheveningen, I believe. And someone at my club played this, and I would be prepared. Oh no, sorry, it would be knight f6 here, and then d6. And I would be prepared with the move g4. This is the best move, actually, the Kerry's attack. But instead of knight f3 and e6, I decided to go for a safe option. I went for the Maroczy with the move c4. The whole idea of this opening is to try and restrict black's play of the pawn move d5. I know black can play this move straight away, but then again a tempo on the queen. b6, I thought this was quite a bit of an odd move. I suppose that the bishop on b7 will support d5. Again, though, I don't know the theory. This could be mainline for all I know. Knight c3, I'm just developing normally. Bishop e7, d4, expanding the centre. C takes d4, knight takes d4, d6. I played bishop e3. So I'm sort of going for a Yugoslav type attacking setup. Again, the c4 pawn, very useful. And also, I think that the moves like a3 and f3 are included as well, just to really... It's a very sort of restrictive opening, the Maroczy ban. You're just trying to sort of suffocate your opponent, like a... sort of like Python-esque, I suppose you could say, way of playing. Like the way that Anatoly Karpov played, really. Knight f6. This attacks the pawn on e4 and also threatens the move knight g. Oh no, it doesn't threaten knight g4. It attacks the pawn on e4. I play f3 to defend this e4 pawn and also to prevent any sort of knight maneuver in case I move my queen to d2 in the future. Opponent plays a6. So this is called the hedgehog setup, and it's known as one of the most solid, sort of hard to break through systems that black can play. I responded with the move queen d2. I'm just sort of going for this attacking setup, even though black's king will probably stay in the centre where it's most safe. Knight bd7 was played. I played bishop e2. I don't want to, I believe the engine says castling's the best move, and I probably should have castled, but I did get a bit scared of a queenside attack. And I believe that the move bishop e2 is quite good. It still is plus 0.9 advantage, and it sort of keeps black guessing on how you're going to play, which way you're going to castle, kingside or queenside. Bishop e7, castles and castles. I did decide to eventually castle on the king side, and then I'm going to bring my rooks to these files here. I think they'd be quite useful. Yeah, so castles, knight b3. Knight b3 was a bit of an interesting move. What I wanted to do is I wanted to reopen my queen on the d file to prevent d5 somewhat. And also I did have the idea of, I really like the idea of a4, a5. After which b5 cannot be played due to takes and takes. This is sort of one of the plans that I made during the game. And of course, if this pawn is captured, it puts a lot of pressure on this sort of queenside structure here. And it was all intuitive, but the idea is if I can get my knight on a5, I'll be doing well. I'm threatening to win this bishop. It has to come back to c8 probably. And I did spend quite a while coming up with this plan. And I rarely come up with plans, like positional plans anyway, to try and get my pieces in a better position. So I'm quite proud of myself for this one. Normally it's more of an attacking plan on how to break open the king side or so on. It'd be a very similar plan, except for that it would involve the black king being on this side of the board. Queen c7 was played. This is a fine move. He's just sort of getting the queen, protecting this e6 pawn in case it's ever under danger. And a6 is a nice inclusion since I can't play knight b5 to attack it. Rook fd1, rook ac8, which is sort of bringing our rooks here. And I decided to play the move queen d4. And I can't exactly remember the thoughts during my game, but I wanted to restrict the movement of this knight somewhat, tying it down to this pawn, because I believe that if I'd have played, let's say if I went with my a4 plan, then like the knight, I'm just going to turn on the engine here, have a look. Yeah, knight e5 is a slight advantage for white. But the reason I played queen d4 is that now if that were to happen, then loses guard. This knight was defending this b6 pawn. So I think queen d4 is quite a useful move. Rook fd8 was played. This is fine. Knight d2. I played the move knight d2 here because I realised that with this knight still being on d7, I'm not really going to get my a4 plan in. So I decided to switch to a new strategy, and I'm going to try and get in b4. And after b4, if I can remember, after b4, then I will transition my knight back, I think, and then play a4, a5. It was a really interesting idea. The only problem with b4 at the minute is that d5, the immediate d5, it breaks in the center, and also this bishop now threatens this pawn. That was something that I was quite scared of. I don't think I needed to be, though. Knight c5, this is fine, blocking whatever's going on here. And I have to be very careful. If I'd have played the move b4, which did cross my mind, I did think about this move. Then the move, I'll show you now, e5 traps my queen. This is a -6 advantage for black. My queen is completely trapped in the center of the board. This knight is hanging, but of course my queen is worth more. I can't come to d5. It's attacked by the pawn, and this knight guards this d3 square. So, luckily I did not make that error, and after knight c5, I played the move knight f1 to give my queen the d1 retreating square. Rook d7 was played here, and I think this was a slight mistake by my opponent. As you're going to see later, it's linked to a very nice tactic. I suppose that my opponent found it difficult to make a move, but I don't really think this contributes to the black position, more takes away from it. It sort of ruins the coordination that was had with these pieces on the C and D file. I played the move b4 here, and the knight is, I thought that the knight was trapped, but then I realised that the move e5 attacks my queen, and after it comes back, the e6 square has been freed up for the knight. But now I have a very beautiful move. I'm very proud of myself for finding this. I played the move knight a4. Wow, que gran movimiento. No creo que haya jugado nunca un movimiento tan hermoso. I am studying Spanish, but I did have to use Google Translate for that. But this move is chef's kiss. You see, there's no real way for black to stop this knight coming to b6 with a fork. For example, if the rook moves back, then bishop takes as a skewer. If this rook moves to b8, say, then it's just a great position. I mean, I can take with the bishop here if I want. I think that might be best. The queen comes back, and then the bishop comes back, and I'm threatening the fork again. It's just really a great move. After I played knight a4, my opponent responded with knight d4, so sacrificing a pawn in the end, with bishop takes d4, e takes d4, queen takes d4, and knight h5. Knight h5 was a little bit of an odd move, and I do realise that I can win the exchange here with this. And that's what I should have done. But I did play the move rook ac1. I thought there's no rush, really. This was a mistake. But my opponent played knight f4, and after rook c2, knight takes e2, rook takes e2, rook b8, and knight takes b6, rook d8, rook c2. I have absolutely fumbled the chance at winning an exchange. I must have had some sort of thought process to tell me that, but no clue really. My opponent played the move bishop c6. I played knight d5, queen d7, and here's a 7+ advantage for me. Let me show you. If I play the move knight takes, and after queen takes, I move my rook to the b file. I think the idea of why this is such a good position is because this rook is frozen to this pawn, and I am just going to end up pushing forward, really. However, I am a bit silly, because instead of going into this, I played the move a3, reinforcing my structure. Let's go. And my opponent played the move bishop a4, so I was so disappointed here, because I'm losing the exchange. But it is fine. I felt like I was still winning, and the engine agrees with me. This is a +4 position. After rook cd2, yeah, I am losing the exchange, but a5 trying to break. I disallow this with b5 pushing forward, bishop f8, a4, and after like rook dc8, knight f3, knight fe3, sorry, and I am really tying down the black pieces here. None of these rooks are active. This bishop's tied down, staring at this pawn, and this queen is just stuck here. Queen e8. I played a nice move here. Knight f5. Oh no, sorry. After rook c5, I played the move knight de7. If this knight was taken, sorry, then I've got a mate. It's quite a nice tactic. So the king moves to h8. After this, I play knight takes d6, attacking the queen. Queen takes e7 and queen takes c5. My queen and my rook defend this knight over here. I am gonna just move my queen out of the way, attack this f7 pawn, and then push my c5, push my c pawn to victory. So here my opponent resigned. I thought this was a very good game. I did make quite a few mistakes though. In fact, I was meant to mention this, but I forgot about it. Is it here? Is it here? Yes, it is. I've turned on the engine. This is a -5 position for black after the move d5. Because if I take with a pawn, then there's bishop c5. My queen moves, the knight comes forward. It's not looking so good for me. It's very lucky that my opponent didn't find this. After d5, I could suppose I could... Can I move my queen back? No, just knight here. And if... knight takes is recommended, and I'm just losing. Thanks for watching. Click here for my most recent video, and click here for the one that YouTube thinks you'll like. Goodbye.